It is our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to spend a little extra time with our next guest, and that guest is Whitney Pakenham, the head coach of the Lansing High School volleyball team. Coach, for you, you're from Lansing, so coming back in your first year as head coach at Lansing High School, what was that experience like for you this year?
It's been great. It's been a wild ride for sure. But when I Julie and I have been really close for a really long time. I coached under her for 2 years at Lansing about 6 years ago before I had my daughter. And so she's been bugging me for a few years now to come back, try and take over the program. And it's literally been exactly 20 years since I played at Lansing High School. So it just felt like this was the right time to come back. I coached two of the seniors when they were 8 and 9. So, and I've been with them for a while. So it just kind of felt like this was the right time to come back home and try and give the girls the best season that they could have.
Transitioning into that first year as a coach at a program, like you said, you had some experience in kind of coaching under her, but like at the same time, what's that first year experience like?
You just never know. So we just had our senior night on Monday, and I actually just talked about this. You don't ever know what you're going to get. Are the girls going to buy in? Are they just going to go through the motions? Unfortunately, Lansing has had a couple new head coaches over the last few years, so you just don't ever really know what you're going to expect. And I feel like I was very lucky that I had a team and a group of seniors and upperclassmen who really bought into everything that I brought this season, and they just kind of rolled with it. So I was very nervous going in June, starting with camps and open gyms, but they have bought in 100%. Anything I ask, they do, even if it's a new crazy drill, if it's I make them do journals every single day. Even the journals, they really have committed to every single thing that I've brought. So I couldn't be more happy with how this first season is going on and off the court.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. You mentioned the journals. I mean, so for the journals, is that just for their personal use, or do you
That's
guys use that during practice or anything like that?
No,
Or
so it's I've been coaching for 15 years. I feel like I know the game really well, and I really wanted to focus more as a head coach coming into a head coach this year on their mental health, and making sure that they had a space that it's just two questions. It takes literally 3 minutes of practice. But it's just kind of like a check-in, like what can you bring to the table today? Or how can you put your team first? Or what's something that you're struggling with that you don't feel like you can talk to me one-on-one about, and they can just kind of write it, and then I can address it with them later. Or sometimes it just helps just to get it out, and then it just kind of, once you're able to write it, it just kind of goes. So it is theirs. The only person who reads it is myself and my assistant coach, and it's just kind of like a free space that they're allowed to kind of say what they want with no fear of judgment. So it just kind of was to help build that side of the game.
you mentioned mental health. I mean, because you talk about it as a coach, and you've had the experience where you might go into a practice and you're not necessarily sure what the girls are dealing with that day, or maybe they had
Mhm.
something coming up, in another part of their life. How do you navigate that as a coach? Just kind of dealing not bad attitudes, but just different moods throughout the year.
So we do daily check-ins. When I get there, they do like a 15-second check-in with me, and they kind of just rate their day 1 through 10. That way I kind of have an idea. Like if they're at a 3, I may push it, like what's going on. And if they're just like, it's just school stuff or whatever it is, we might address it. But if I just know that way as a coach, like maybe I am a little bit of a hard coach. They're going to get pushed. They have a level of expectation that I expect every single day, but maybe I'm not going to be, uh, you know, really hard on them if I know, one of our girls mom had some medical issues earlier in the season. So maybe I'm not going to write her as hard. We're going to have some one-on-one conversations on what she can work on versus me maybe, um, you know, going at her at practice, just trying to be mindful of what is going on outside of just these four walls in this gym every single day.
Whitney Pakenham, head coach of the Lansing volleyball team, joining us here for our quality time interview. For you, when you prepare for a match, coach, like how much time is spent, even from the coach's standpoint of things, before a match?
Um, a lot, a lot. Um, so I try. I try not to go in. I do like to watch film. I try not to do too much film just because one, you never know what you're going to get when you play any team. Just like us, sometimes I don't know what team is going to show up for me, but for practice, we're going to work really hard on what I know that we can control, which is our serve receive, our serving, those kinds of things. We know what we can control on our side of the net. And so we try to really focus on that versus we know what, this school, we know they have a D1 commit on the outside. We really need to prepare versus focusing so much on that. I'm trying to flip our mindset onto focusing on what can we control on our side. What can we do well to make sure that they stay out of system. So that's where most of our preparation comes from, is how do we prepare ourselves on our side of the net to make sure we stay in control throughout the match.
I know in certain professions, but I know like for me as a broadcaster, there's like a certain amount of preparation that I need to feel comfortable before I go into a broadcast. Like, is that the same for you as a coach? Like, as far as whether it's scouting or watching anything, like,
Yeah.
do you have a certain level where you feel like, okay, hey, yeah, I'm ready to go?
I would say, yeah, I would say especially like big games. Like, so my preparation's a little bit different than maybe us going into certain league games because we see them a lot more often. So I kind of know what to expect. But going into sub-state, yes, I would say I need, especially like before a game, I need like 20, 30 minutes to like make sure like I'm locked in, my team's locked in, my lineups are where they need to be. But then the day before, I probably spend at least an hour trying to find film, making sure my lineup is exactly where it needs to be. Our practice plan is where it needs to be before I head into practice. So I would say like an hour the day before, and then at least 30 to 45 minutes the day of a game, getting myself locked in, getting my team locked in, getting our bench locked in. So, I mean, yes, so there is a lot of preparation. It's just, I will be honest, it depends on what game we're going into and what the stakes are. So obviously we have high stakes this weekend, so there's a little bit more preparation that goes into that versus maybe just our normal day-to-day games.
Volleyball focus for you, has that always been a part of your life? Like, at what point did volleyball, was you just kind of hooked with it?
Yeah, well, I started playing personally in 6th grade, played all through high school. I started coaching, I would say probably a couple years out of high school when I was 20. And then when I graduated from college, Julie Slater and I were really close. And so I coached under her for a year, and then I took over my own club team after that. And so I've been coaching at a high level club for about 15 years. So yes, so it's always been, I feel like, a part of my life. I love it. It just, it's a fun game. I love being able to help the younger generation, continue that love and passion for the sport.
You mentioned club volleyball. I mean, coaching's coaching to a certain point, but any differences, I guess, when you're coaching a club team compared to now at Lansing High School?
Yes. I see them a lot more than I do during club, so that's been a shift. I get to know my club girls really well, but you get to know your high school girls on a completely different level. You see them every single day right after high school. So I learned a lot of different things. But there's a lot of different preparation. You don't want to keep practice the same every single day, but there is something to say about consistency. So being able to switch up practices but stay consistent, like with my club, we practice 2 to 3 times a week. So, I'm able to do some of those things repetitively because it's not every single day. So the every single day aspect of high school was definitely a challenge, or not a challenge, but definitely a change for me.
Sure. I mean, you look at, setting your expectations before the season started, and we talked about being a first-year coach, but at what point, either before the season or during the season, did you realize, hey, this team has a chance to be pretty special?
I mean, I knew that first day I walked into the gym. I mean, I knew quite a few of the girls. I watched them through the season last year. And then, those first couple open gyms, I mean, my assistant, Katie, and I, we knew we had something special. We just had to find the right mix, the right chemistry, and get the girls really bought into what we were saying and what we saw, because I think it's hard to see that in yourself. So we had to help them find that within themselves. And I think they really, obviously, they've proven how special this little group is.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That is Whitney Pakenham, the head coach of the Lansing volleyball team, and that'll do it for our quality time interview.